Okay, I'm assuming you guys can hear me. I've never done anything like this before, but this is going to be a commentary video for my first mod. I thought it'd be something fun to put on the secondary channel that we have. Just same video, I'm just going to be talking over it, maybe about some of the stuff that happened when maybe I was writing it, or the coding process, things like that, just behind the scenes kind of stuff, things that I think about it, maybe anything of interest, just a simple commentary. So I've never done this before, so I don't really know what I'm doing. And of course, I'm just looking at this on YouTube. I could pull up the old video from a flash drive, but I'm too lazy. See, everything's... I still can't believe my first line of code is just yawn. I didn't really know how to start this mod off. I knew what the story was going to be, at least for the beginning. And I was like, I think I've seen other YouTubers like Monica Smileyface do just yawn for the beginning, or just screaming. So just something just to happen, some sort of noise. So that's what I did. And it made sense. He woke up, toast in the toaster. Most people don't notice the fact that I totally messed that up. You don't really put toast in a toaster, but some people have, and I've been notified of it. But it's funny. I wouldn't want to change things now at this point. It is what it is, and it's my first mod, so I mean, there are mistakes. I don't know if I've gotten better or worse, or just about the same, but this is my most successful mod. It's the first one, so I'm just too lazy. I thought I was funny. I still like to think I'm funny, but I never know what jokes land or don't when I'm making a mod. I don't really get to see too many audience reactions. I don't know which jokes I make are enjoyed or giggled or laughed at. No light from the floor creaking. Yeah, it is. I remember I was never thinking when I wrote this. I was like, how do I convey that something odd's going on? Because I knew when I made this, I'd never made a mod before, but I've seen other modders, and that's what inspired me. I was like, whoever clicks on this video is gonna already have a good basis on the ddlc lore and know the characters and most of the basic kind of cliches for these mods. So I kind of use that when making this. One thing I did try to do, and it's somewhat successful. I mean, I have to make MC somewhat stupid for just for the plot, for the story, for interesting things to happen. But I try to make him reasonable. If he does something that others would call stupid, I want to give MC to say, like, he has a reason for it, though. Stupid or not, at least he has some sort of logic behind it. Something that's just a little bit more believable. Good luck. I mean, I know I'm careless, but not that much, right? Yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's suspicious, the things that he sees, but he doesn't think about it too much. It's like how many people would kind of instantly think they have a stalker, unless they have the precursor knowledge that they are in a ddlc mod. It's gone. Other than that. And yeah, oh yeah, goodness. The little block. I think that's something with my computer. It's just, I'd have to get a new one to get rid of it. I don't think it's my recording. It's just when it plays through the code, the game, it just takes a little moment to get there. It happens just about, let me see, it's in 3 minutes. Wow. I used to think it would happen every 10 minutes, but nowadays I don't know. It just seems to happen at random. But I have been notified of it. There's just not much I can do about it. When I made this, one of the reasons that when I originally started, I was like, I'll do it to 1 to 2 week uploads, was because I used to write all my ideas down, and I would write scripts. I have my old book with me that has my scripts in it for the series. The entire Stalker series is just in one book. And I'd have Brenirk read through it. She would kindly read through it, and she would make corrections to grammar or anything that she thought was interesting. And she'd tell me that it wasn't like a crap story. I think that helped a lot when I made this. I mean, there was a time where I didn't have a computer that would run the RenPy, which is what I use for coding. They have a coding app on RenPy, so I just use that. It's so easy. Brenirk always helps especially in the beginning, she helped me write down different tactics for when I'm coding, just for me to remember like what kind of pixels and image in the background needs to be for it to fit, things like that. So I can look at that right now and just tell you that she definitely very much helped me. And if you hear that, that's just me flipping through the book. But yeah. And what I would do is I would just look at my book, what I wrote, and I would code it. I used to actually put like Sayori, then dash like what their expression would be, but that took too long, so I decided I'll just figure that out when I'm coding for these scenes. But I had it all written down, and I would change it a little bit, like just say like how this sounds better. I don't do that anymore because it takes too long. I had all this written over the course of months before the first episode was ever even released, and if I were to do that now, my releases would be so far apart. So eventually I stopped. I use notes now, just little like notes for like key events that I want to have, and I can add details when I'm actually coding. And then I go back and rewrite. I'm thinking about one day doing an episode where I go into how I make mods, but back then, about a year ago now, I did that. Oh my gosh. Mr. Roman, was it? Mr. Caesar. Oh my gosh. I remember thinking that would be my thing. That would be the joke for like every video I ever made. There would have to be some sort of teacher there, and it would be funny. And I still plan on doing that. Whenever I get a chance to where MC has to be in a classroom for making sense reason, I want to make. I try my best to make a new teacher and a new joke, new fun fact. And I love the idea of doing that. It's classic. Especially this one. It's been a year. Jesus, it's been so long. I actually have a list of the words that I've used for his response, like "you're pathetic" or "so disappointing," so I don't reuse any. Oh, it's Yuri. I remember. I know people like this. I made a good thing out of this. People used to say that when it came out that this was Among Us, but in ddlc, and it wasn't. It wasn't titled that, but it had that theme of mystery. You didn't know who was the stalker. But I did. I wrote it. I mean, from the off, I knew I was going to choose Yuri. It seemed like the obvious choice, and that was okay. What my goal wasn't to surprise anyone with the reveal. I wanted to keep people guessing until the end. I wanted to give a reason that anyone could logically think that any girl is the stalker, and I think I did good. I went into writing this thinking like, yeah, people know ddlc. They know the mods. So I'm not making. If I'm gonna make something new, it's not gonna be anything with character, just with story. So I made some stereotypical choices with their words that I think people could remember from the game, the original game, actually. And people seem to. It's my most popular video, and I don't know if I'll ever top it. I think the title is just really good. My Doki Stalker. I looked it up, and there's only one mod that actually had the word stalker in it, so I thought it was good with how it was, but I feel like people would be interested in that. It's on brand. And, I mean, it's served me well as putting me on the map. Showed us all at lunch. I remember writing this, and it was this scene when I was like writing it, this huge, like, you know, she would eventually punch him for calling, I think he calls her cute or something like that, and she gets mean, or no, he assumes that she may be the stalker, and she gets a little angry. And eventually there's gonna be a fight between Natsuki and Yuri, as anyone who's watched this knows. I remember writing that. I was in Brenirk's room, we were hanging out, we were doing some writing together, because she has her own stories, if you don't know that. Brenirk actually has a YouTube channel. You should go subscribe to it. It's pretty great. She does drawings, some of them with my side characters. So if you wanted to know what they looked like, you should go subscribe to her channel. And I was, you know, writing this, thinking like, you know, how can I justify him getting so hurt? And I was like, oh my gosh, this could really work, and I can make it like it's crazy how it hurts. So they have to investigate it a little bit, which they do, of course. Eventually, you know, they see that he has a very large bruise from a injection, and it all kind of fits together in a nice puzzle piece. I get those moments sometimes when I'm writing where I just think of something that I think is really interesting, and I think it just makes the mod much better. But as I was saying before, I didn't finish my sentence. When I wrote this scene, this was when I decided that Natsuki would be the love interest. I didn't plan for there to be much of a love interest for this mod, let alone a series. If you like the fact that it's a series and not just one mod, you need to thank Brenirk, because I finished writing it, and I was talking to Brenirk one day, and I was like, I don't know what to do next. I was just like, do you know what? I'm just like bouncing ideas off of her, just thinking like what sticks. And she was like, why don't you do like a part 2 where she like escapes from a prison? And I was like, you think people would be that interested in it? It's like, yeah. She's like, she could be in an asylum and she can like break out. And while of course I did change that idea a lot for part 2, to make it more, I guess, corrupted from an authority standpoint. She's the one who got me to make a series. So you should thank her for that if you ever get the chance, because I wasn't going to make a part 2. I thought that when I finished this, and I still agree with that, I think I made the definitive Stalker story. I don't think I'll ever make a story about a stalker or a obsessed lover that would top it. Maybe I could try it, but it would have to be different. I wouldn't want to just make another Yuri Stalker story or Yuri Obsessed story, unless I had a really good idea that I thought you guys would like. I think I made a pretty definitive, a very good story. I didn't plan to make a sequel because it wouldn't live up to the original. And while I think that's still true, the views and the like ratios still show that people like the first one more. But people still like every single part. Every single part of that series has over 10,000 views. So, I mean, it's the most popular series, everyone seems to love it, and it's enough to make me continue its series into other series like Gone Missing and Corruption, and I've made Stalker short stories for scenes that either I didn't think of at the time or I deleted, but are still canon in my head, and I forget that I never actually made it. So sometimes, and that's some of the feature mods I plan to make, are Stalker short stories where I go into that story and some of the things that I didn't actually put into a part mod for one of the series that are still canon in my head. Just making them to round out the story, give some extra content, like a short video, just to keep you guys at bay while I'm making these longer videos. And of course, when I started this, I mean, I remember I didn't know much. I was learning as I was going, getting people to be in focus, getting people to leave. Brenirk and I spent so long just searching on like Reddit or just the internet in general to figure out how to do certain coding things, which eventually will show here one of the characters like just falling, and they look like they're falling. And it took us forever to find that. It took us so long, but I was like, we need to have that. I mean, they gotta look like they've fallen, right? Because I mean, that's what's happening. Not like I do, you don't. I remember writing this, and I was just like on a roll, just in my little notebook, just writing it over and over again, just like all these like, it's just this argument. And I liked how I got Natsuki to I think it's believable, her emotion here, to be feeling guilty, because I mean, she did hurt him, technically, and it's something that you can you just beat him, and now he's been trying to make you feel better about your harsh actions. How you could be so cruel. I was like, yeah, I can believe that. And yeah, there goes that. Look at Sayori, look at her just like, huh, well, I don't really know what to do here. Over to you. And I wanted to make it obvious that, of course, Yuri was the stalker, she was obsessed, but I mean, you could still believe that Sayori was possibly one. Just in the background, not really saying anything, just kind of letting things tumble. I liked it, it kept you guessing until close to the end. You're trying to stand up for me, but it's unnecessary. Man, my writing. As I said, I try to make him reasonable. Look at that face, it's like, oh, you dare defy me. Can't believe it. I remember for future moments, Yuri will look insane, but she'll be wearing casual clothes, and that's not in the original code, so I had to go into the definitions of the code and change that. And I did not know that until way later when I was skimming through my code to make sure it all worked. I was like, wait, why is it not showing? Why is, like, Yuri invisible right now? That took a while to figure out. I swear, like, when there's a coding error and you just don't know what in the world's actually wrong and you have to, like, skim through every letter, it's something else. But it's worth it. I mean, so many people have enjoyed this story and other stories I've made. And the obvious, like, romance that we build here, which is why I had it happen. The scene wasn't really going to happen. She was just going to run off. And I was gonna put in more time with some of the other girls to show more obsessive traits to make you kind of be suspicious. But when I realized that I wanted Natsuki to be the love interest, we had to, give some time for them to bond. And I think I still kept true to Natsuki. I remember I replayed the game before writing this. I played it for the first time on my own, so I could get a good feel for everyone's normal character. Which is why, like, we'd have Natsuki be a little smug. And she says me again in the opposite arm. Being a little smug. That's kind of how she is. A little smart. But I think it works. I think it is true to what her original character is, and I like that. I think that's why people probably like it as well. I thought I heard it all compared to the ones she threw with my other arm. There's nothing wrong. Yeah. I do like how this all kind of comes together. Sometimes when I'm just writing, it's just, I'm on a roll. That's a mouthful. I always worry when I'm writing in code not to make my sentences, make them long enough that, it's like good writing, but like not make them too long so that they don't go out of the box. Or cover up the bottom line of history skip, autosave, load, and settings, or anything like that. Everyone's just like, oh gosh, what now? No, Bruce wouldn't. I'm pretty sure. You wanna know why I said wouldn't it? I wasn't confident that maybe Bruce come up sooner. I was like, so self-aware. It's like someone in the comments is gonna say, actually, Bruce's can inform very quickly. I was like, I'm just gonna make it a question and not an answer, so no one tries to correct me. Because I don't know. It's not important. It's not that important. I'm kind of following along. See your arm. Ooh. And she inspects. Look at that capital S. I try to do that to make things like how you read it in your head sound more, maybe something more pronounced. Oh, look at that. See, it's almost right there at a history. Like, see, that was close. He injected you with a sedative last night, so they could be unnoticed by you in your house. That is an amazing guess, and I knew it, so I made sure to put this. It's like, how do you know it's a sedative? But it's what happened. And look at Yuri. Oh my gosh, she's like, ooh. I remember just sitting in my room, it was like late at night coding this, just being like, man, what in the world, what facial expressions do these people have right now? Someone punctured me without waking me up fully, but how do you know I keep an extra key on her map? I mean, I only ever told you I had an extra key, not where it was. Ooh. Well, why would you tell the extra key if you didn't tell where? I just guessed. I didn't think he was actually with the map. That was a good explanation, honestly. I think it's like, it was a surprising guess. I wonder if it really was a coincidence. Well, MC, you're pretty basic with your hiding places, gonna be honest. And there we go with the situational flirting. I thought that was just smart. I think everyone kind of knew. And of course, nowadays, everyone can rewatch it and kind of see Monika's actions through a different lens, considering her further knowledge of what's happening. I mean, she knows about Monika this entire time. But it allowed her to have her friends. She didn't have to could defend MC. Excuses. And it worked. No, I want to. Yep. Yeah, now it's true. It's still canon. She always knew. It wasn't like she just decided to forget or to block it out. She just was willing to not fix it. I mean, it's not like she could. She did try to learn to code, but it only worked for her world. She wasn't able to code the world that she lives in. She was only able to actually work on computers that existed in her world, which is something I made for this series. That all-knowing smile of hers. Not something to hate her for. She just wanted her friends. She wanted to start over, considering the fact that she'd done some pretty questionable things to her friends when she deleted the world back in the original game, which, you know, has happened before or gone missing before this series. She made a call. Maybe not the best call, but if she tried to remind them, try to fix things. I mean, that's true. It's just, you know, the fact that she had gone out of her way to be like, hey, Yuri's a stalker. Hey, she's insane. But it's not her, like, talking about what she knows. It could risk them all remembering. That's what she was worried about. And then they'd all hit her again. Which is exactly what happened in Corruption. Everyone remembered and everyone's mad at her. And sure, they're getting better at it. They got talked to at the towards the end of part 2, but everyone was still pretty pissed off anyhow, because they felt betrayed. But I remember seeing when I finally read some of those episodes, people were like, I gotta rewatch the series, and it's like in a whole new light because of what you know now, or knowing that she knows everything. So I started to think, oh, she's the best cook here after all, and I also just want to spend more time with her. Yep, I was also like, yep, this is going to be a Natsuki-oriented series. And I think it worked out for the best in later parts, especially. Yeah, it was fun. It was fun being able to incorporate a different theme than just, I don't know, I guess more of a thriller mystery theme. It was like you have reason to care more for MC now, that since he has not only someone that he's interested in, that's also in peril. Both head out to school and get her to the local supermarket. Here we go. The scene that everyone's gonna remember until the day I die. I still get comments about this scene to this day, because in the background you can see it says Clementine, Ananas, Banan. Because it's definitely not an English store. It's Retur. I've heard so many different countries. I think someone said it was like Swedish. Some other people have said it's like Norwegian. I have no idea where it is. I needed a store, and I couldn't find one that, I didn't have my sources yet. I have specific places I go to now when I'm looking for specific backgrounds, not just along with Google Images, but I think it's like Lemisoft that I go to now, because they look like regular ddlc backgrounds. But this time I just went to Google, turned on for like Creative Public, and I just looked up store, and like there was nothing, and it was just this is all I found. For some reason, I probably put down supermarket, but this is all I found. And I was like, well, you know what? It's weird, but it'll work. It'll work. And it does. It's a supermarket, and it's a background. But everyone's gonna be like so confused, like, in this canon, does it take place in Norwegian? It's like, not that I know of. It's just the store. The manager's just very interesting. But it was just the one that I could find. I didn't think it would have been that, and I didn't think people would have noticed that much. But then again, this is my most popular video. People have watched it, have rewatched it, have analyzed it. I mean, I've gotten comments before on extra part videos I made, like part 2 or part 3, where people have like super analyzed every little detail to the point where they like find these little flaws, or they really think about the realism of this, which is interesting. I like that. I'm not like, can't believe they're getting so angry, but no. because it's all in good fun. If someone cares enough about my story to make little corrections like that don't really matter at the end of the day, it means they really enjoy what I made, and I appreciate that just as much as, and I appreciate the fact that they commented anyhow. I mean, that must mean they obviously watched it, and that's good for me. I like that. I like the fact that people care so much about the ridiculous stories that I make that would never happen in real life, but I try to make them as realistic as possible. I know that there's a certain suspension of disbelief when watching my mods, because, you know, some of the stuff just would not happen at all. Especially in later series, like the Institute is just, it's like a conspiracy theorist, like, dream for that to even be real. But it's a cool villain, and I like that it's always in the background, even in this series, which that only comes into showing in later parts, like part 2 and then part 4, I think. And it grows, because I did not make this mod with the Institute and the different, like the multiverse, or Dr. Ollie, or like the Stranger, of course, at the time. I didn't have any of that in mind. I just had, I want to make one mod that I think everyone can like. I want to put everything I have into it, you know, so just make like a really good story. Just, and I was like, I never expected it to get this popular. I honestly thought that it would have, I honestly didn't think I'd get many views at all. I didn't know what to expect. All I knew is that when I made it and I was going to post it to YouTube, I promised myself that no matter what happens, it's okay, that I made something, and even if just one person likes it, then that's enough to keep making mods. Because for that one person, those couple people that enjoy my story, they deserve to have an ending. They deserve to get that part 2 if that's what they want. I never wanted to start a series, leave it on a cliffhanger, and then never finish it. Now, of course, I've had videos that end in a to be continued question mark, as in I'm actually asking if people are even interested. Like this video, I asked if people would be interested in part 2 when I asked to be continued, even though I had completely and utterly already written 6 parts. I'd already written all the parts. And, yep. So I knew I was already going to make more, but I thought it'd be kind. And plus, if people really hated it, then there might not be a point in making sequels. Oh my gosh. I don't even remember. I remember now that I see it, but if you would ask me, like, to reiterate, like, every little thing that happened in this first part, I would not. I was completely forgotten about that hug. Seems like my answer was. I think I did really good with this mod. The more I read it, the more I just. It has been a long time since I ever sat down and just watched this to reread, to reiterate, you know, what happened in my first video. I'm gonna stop this before it begins again. I don't know. I'm supposed to be commentating. I've been talking this entire time, but just reading it. I mean, it's a good story. I stand by that. I know I don't want to sound like narcissistic or cocky, but I think it's a good story. I think a lot of people can agree with me on that, at least. I don't get too much hate for my first video. I think some of the sequels, the part 2s, and other videos, I can get some light criticism. But I think for this video, I think most people agree that it's a pretty good video. I mean, it was good enough to start sequels. I mean, heck, there are people that would threaten me. I say threaten very lightly because it wasn't actual threats, but they would say that they'd eat my refrigerator handles and windows if I did not release the next part. Like literally, I would release a new part, and then someone would like a good hour later, it's like, okay, that's great. Now where's the next part? It's like. It was fun, and it was good to see that people were so interested. I now noticed, it's like, yeah, I got Monica in her casual outfit, and I use it a lot, because, you know, sometimes Monica's just in a casual outfit. It makes sense. But the thing about it is just that, you know, I know that some people, I'd seen mods where the author would have to explain why. Oh my gosh, lasagna, I'll have to get back to that. I would have to explain why Monica is wearing her school clothes in an outside setting, and it's because they either couldn't find casual clothing, or they couldn't, put it into the code. They'd make a self-aware reference to the fact that that was the issue, and I was like, I can't do that. If I'm making a mod, I can't have that as an explanation. I should be able to get that skin. Okay, so I found it and I coded it, and it took me a while, but I was able to do it because it was necessary. And it's one of the reasons that it took me longer to make the video. I probably started coding, or having the ability to code, around like October, November-ish. And of course this came out towards the end of November, mid-November. It took me more days just because I had to learn how to code in things that were already originally there. Lasagna. I've gotten more criticism lately for the way that I have spelt lasagna, but I'm pretty sure that if I go to Google and I type in that exact spelling for lasagna, Google doesn't care. They say, oh yeah, we know what you're talking about. I'm pretty sure there's supposed to be some sort of, I know it's like, from an Italian. I can't believe you spelled lasagna like that. But it works. You know what I'm talking about. But the interesting thing is that even if I were to remake this, or if I were to re-upload it with some spelling checks, I probably wouldn't change lasagna, because I don't think I have a thing on my keyboard that allows for that. I've tried stuff like that before, where I maybe I'll find a different language, and I'll try to type it into the code, and it just won't recognize it. So people will just speak nothing with quotation marks. You ever think this is a stalker might try to come into my house again, even though all of you are here? Well, the stalker's already inside. And I'm sure everyone kind of knows that, and that's what makes it interesting. So it's like, yeah, you pretty much know that it has to be one of these four, most likely. But everyone's in the house, so what's going to happen? I think people were interested. I'm interested in that. I remember writing it and realizing that the way I originally intended for this mod to turn out did not happen. The story in my brain, it just went a completely different direction. I had a Natsuki love interest. That was not original. Originally, this mod was supposed to end with Yuri confessing her obsessive love and MC being all for it. I have never seen a mod. I mean, I've seen so many mods with Yuri being a stalker or a yandere or obsessive and crazy, and he's always freaked out and trying to escape and always in danger. But I was like, what if he doesn't freak out? What if he, goes with Yuri's fantasy? He does like her, or he's into her crazy obsessiveness. That was how I was originally going to end it. He would say basically, he's like, oh yeah, that's awesome, or he's just, interested in it. And then it would end. That would be the mod. And if I ever made a part 2, maybe I'd go into why being interested in a yandere in a relationship would suck. But that all changed when randomly I was like, why don't we just make Natsuki a love interest? And it worked. I like the fact that I did that. I think if I had made, I don't know what it would have been like if I changed things. I don't know. Maybe it'd been better, maybe it'd been worse. If I were to ever make an alternate ending, like a serious alternate ending, where I revamped the original ending to this specific mod, not necessarily. I've already made an alternate ending. If you haven't seen it, please do. It is canon to the story technically. If you don't understand that, if you have seen it and you are confused by me saying that, then watch the first part of Corruption. It all kind of ties in that part. But either way, if I ever made an alternate, this one mod, just the first part, I'd have it where MC was all for Yuri's affection. Of course, I've thought of making an alternate ending where maybe Monica or Sayori or Natsuki was the stalker, because it could have worked. I made it where there was some possible evidence to suggest that it was not Yuri. How do you feel there, Stalker? I mean, are you scared or excited? That I'm a little scared. I don't want to be hurt by the Stalker, but it doesn't bother me much. Yeah, that's kind of the idea that I wanted, which is I'm excited to see who is so interested in me. It's a very mixed feeling situation, and I liked that because that's what I wanted to do for the ending. What would you say to your Stalker once you actually meet him or her? question, Yuri. I guess it depends on the person and their intentions with me. I swear, I was like so headed for that ending, but you know, it changed. It was like, that wasn't the answer she was looking for, because it wasn't. Gosh, I just loved when I wrote that. I was like, I still incorporated my original ending into it, because I thought it was still good. I thought it was still interesting, because it was different. It was new. I've never seen someone do that, where they just start, you know, trying to have an actual romantic relationship with someone who is insane like that. You get your chance. It's the least I can do since you. And then she spikes it with something. I remember that. I just love thinking this, because I like to think that when people see that, they're like, oh no, they like that everyone can like see that far ahead to see that, you know, they know what's gonna happen. You know, at this point you're starting to be like, yeah, it's gotta be Yuri. Yuri's acting very suspicious. My columnist turns out it's Natsuki, and she doesn't like the fact that she's looking at me though, but I barely helped Natsuki. Character was a priority to express that I wanted to get that subtlety. Yuri's so laser focused on MC, and everyone else can go die. I mean, like, yeah, they're friends, but like it's just not the priority. I didn't check for a stalker or the stalker. I should have. It's those little things I'd change, I guess, if I were to ever rewrite or re-upload with some corrections, but I don't think I plan to do that anytime soon. The mod is good as it is. People seem to like it very much, faults and all. But MC interrupted me. I didn't want to end up looking for so it turned out to be nothing. So I just walked this way. Yep. My excuses for why other people sounded a little suspicious couldn't just be a coincidence. So you weren't up early to do math? I may be stupid sometimes, but I stay on top of my grades. I can't believe you would sue me. Yeah, sorry indeed. Finish, yeah. I remember when I had recorded this video like a good 3 times, because I didn't have a good recorder. I remember I recorded for the first time with it was like a Microsoft recorder that was already installed in my computer, and it sucked. It over-highlighted, over-saturated, I guess you could say. Everything was very, very, very bright. Like I know like all these foregrounds are like white, but like they were really white, to the point that you couldn't see half of their facial expressions. Oh, that's not, I don't know why that's happening. Teams is opening up for the rain. It happens. It doesn't matter. Hopefully it'll go away. Goodness. Or not. Okay. I don't care. It's whatever. So, as I was saying before, this recording was interrupted. That never happens with any other recordings. But yeah, I recorded with it was called like GameSpot or something like that. Just Game Bar or something like that. And you couldn't see the lines of their mouths or their noses. You could see their eyes, of course, so you could tell like from their eyes what they were feeling, but you couldn't actually see their mouths. It was too bright, and so that sucked. Goodness, hold on. Okay, good. Should have just done that earlier. So I had to find a new recorder, and oh my gosh, it took me hours of attempts I was trying to see if I could fix my recording, the one I already had, to make it less bright, but nothing worked. Now, turning the brightness down fixed absolutely nothing. So I just had to find a new screen recorder, and I did eventually. I found a good free one, because I was not paying a whole bunch of money when I was never going to be making money off of this. And I'm still not. I know there's ads on these videos, or at least some of them, but I don't have any like AdSense. I didn't put any of my tax information to get money from it. I don't do this for some sort of money. It's to entertain people. That's all I care about, at least for now. And that might change, but right now what I care about is making a story that you guys can enjoy. So that, you know, that you, I don't know, continue with your day. It's just a little bit better because you watched a cool story that, I don't know, like a short film. That it's just something to entertain you. That's what I wanted to do. It's always been something I've been interested in, and this was a good way to do it. It's at this point it's much more simple because I know how to do it. It's just oh my gosh, look at that block. I just gotta be my computer. And I apologize that for sincerely. I know that my mods are not perfect, and I'll never claim that they're perfect. I've never made perfection. It's just impossible. I think I've made, like, maybe some of my stories may be like probably some of the best that I've made. Like this Stalker story, I think maybe one of the best Stalker stories, Yandere stories. But not the best. I don't think I've made. I don't think it's. There's always better. I understand that. I never want people to think that I'm super high and mighty in my thoughts. Even today, I'm making mods right now, and I've stopped. I've not just been procrastinating, but been very worried that what I'm writing in this mod may not be up to status quo with some of my other mods, that I might be making crap, and I don't want to do that. The people who have subscribed, who have commented, who have watched hours of footage, I mean hours. I mean, this is about an hour long. I did not expect that when I first made this, but people still watch it anyhow. I don't, if it's going to be, you know, an hour long, it better be a really darn good hour. So I do my best to make it worth your while. A good story. And when I made this, I did not expect it to last this long time-wise. I thought this would be a maybe half-hour mod. And it wasn't until I started recording that I realized, oh my gosh, this is going to be like an hour long. And ever since, like, literally every time I make a video now, I realize I have a better sense of how long my mods will be. But a lot of times I undershoot it. Like, I thought my first Stalker side story was just going to be about like 10 minutes. And it's like 20 to 30 minutes. The one I made for Christmas with Kiyomi's Last Christmas, I thought that was going to be about like 10, 15 minutes. I'm pretty sure it's like 20. So... And some of my shorter mods, I mean, I made the Massive Magnum one, which I could do a quick commentary about that one of these days. If you guys like me making commentary like this, then I can do more, maybe do the next parts. But you see how, look, you can see right there, right at the hairline and behind the neck, you can see that, you can still see some of Yuri's school outfit. You can kind of see that her yandere face wasn't particularly made for her casual outfit. It was, but I mean, it's you only see it when you're like really like looking at it. I think it still looks good. That's why I left it that way. So, but you can kind of tell if you know it's there. But that's what I was talking about earlier with the fact that they didn't have yandere expressions for the casual outfit. I'm getting all over the place. Whenever I talk, whenever I random, I go all over the place, and I'll forget things I was going to say. And that kind of sucks. But I know that right now, like I was saying, I worry about, you know, making sure that my content's good, because it needs to be good. You guys deserve that. You're putting your actual free time that you could be spending watching not only other mods, but doing something like, I don't know, studying or something productive, but you're just watching my videos for your entertainment. You've chose my work instead of a movie or a TV show or, I don't know, a much more popular YouTuber. You chose my video, which means the world to me. And I want to make it worth your while. So I do try to make them as best as I personally possibly can. Sometimes I always worry whenever I upload a video that it's going to be crap and everyone's going to hate it. And that hasn't happened yet, but it's a fear of mine that I might release something that's just really, really bad. So I go over the top a lot to make sure that whatever I make is a good story. And that's why it takes me so much longer now than it used to. When I made this video, I didn't expect it to get popular. I just made it to entertain whoever might happen across it. And I like the fact that I think I did a wonderful video. I think I did a wonderful mod. And it's what put me on, like, the map of ddlc modders. I mean, ads, hold on. I thought about turning the ads off for this video when I did this recording, but then I was like, you know, if I notify YouTube that this video has ads, they might just take them away. Because YouTube has been very mean about what videos deserve and do not deserve ads. Which is weird. Sometimes it's a copy strike from about music in the background, because some of the new ones I've gotten are not copyrighted, but apparently some people think that they're somewhat similar to their music. And it's bullcrap. And I've thought about sending it to like YouTube, being like, hey, I don't deserve this. But they say that if they don't agree with me, that they'll just get rid of my channel. And I don't care enough about an ad that I'm not going to be making money from to make a claim. If I ever decide to make money, I mean, I have plans to do merch with some of the stuff that I've created, but not really. I mean, I just haven't really done anything with the ads, so it's just not important. Just as long as people are able to watch it and enjoy it, that's all that matters to me. Here's something. I mean, yours attacking. Oh, and I love it. I was like hitting with a frying pan. Oh my gosh. I mean, it was. It made me think of Tangle when I wrote it, but I was like, her go-to weapon is a knife. But if she stabs someone, they might die. I mean, really. I mean, it's a serious wound. I mean, some people survive, some people don't. And I didn't want to risk it for this mod when I made it. For sure, there to be any chance that someone was gonna die. I didn't want it to be that sad. When I first made mods, I was like, I never want to go into the themes of suicide, of something that dark, something that's sad. While I was happy later on to make grim mods where people did die, I started off wanting to not go that far. I didn't want to make someone just be utterly just crushed by something absolutely horrible happening. And while maybe eventually I might dive into those topics, right at that time when I made this, I was not wanting to do that. I wanted just a good dramatic, mysterious, and new kind of mod. Like, I remember when I uploaded, it took a while. I mean, some people would see it. I'd get views whenever I clicked on it just to see how it was doing, and it wasn't doing anything. No one had found it. But then the same night I uploaded, I did start to get views. And I got my first comment, and I always remembered it was from someone named Tea Leaf. And they commented that they were down to see a part 2. So of course I got to work on a part 2. Not at that moment. My next mod I made was a Thanksgiving mod. But I remember seeing that. I remember freaking out. It was the middle of the night. I mean, it was probably like 4 o'clock in the morning. And I saw that someone commented. Someone liked my video enough to say that they wanted a part 2. They actually stayed to see the to be continued thing. Not everyone does that. Most people see that little like fade to black and they just immediately click off. They don't see me saying thank you. They don't see me saying to be continued. They don't see maybe if I added an extra scene after that with maybe me or someone else talking that may or may not be very crucial to a plot. People don't really see that. Not everyone does. But they did. And they commented, and I hearted it, and I liked it, and I responded, because it meant so much to me that someone cared for what I made, that someone enjoyed it, and it always does. Whenever I find one, I make sure to like and heart it. Not because I overly love the comment. I love the fact that someone commented, and I want to show that I appreciate them for taking the time to comment. I mean, not everyone comments, but they did. And I also use it to make sure that they know that I read it. I can't heart it if I didn't just read it, you know? I heart it so you know that I read it. Because I don't have a response for every comment, because sometimes there's just nothing that I really have to say. But I heart it just so everyone that it is known that I've read it. If you have left a comment and there's no heart, it is not because I don't appreciate your comment. It's not because I hate your comment. It's because I haven't seen it. I haven't found it. I do try every once in a while, maybe every couple of months, I go to YouTube and they have this way that I can actually look at all the comments I have not responded to or left a heart to, and I can go and quickly read them, see where they're from, and maybe make a reply or at least heart them so that the people know that I read them. It's so important to me that the people who take the time to comment, to tell me what they liked, maybe what they didn't like, what they can't wait, maybe any theories that they have about the story. I mean, it all means so much to me that they deserve to know that I at least read it. I mean, I can always just say, oh yeah, I read every comment. It's like, no, you have proof. You know I read it when I heart it. Like, you know I did. And I plan to do that as much as I can until one day, I guess, if I ever get popular enough that I get too many comments to where I can't heart them all. Like, there's like so many. But that hasn't happened yet. So, I do my best. And sometimes YouTube does not notify me of certain comments. I don't know why. It just takes me a while to find them. And that's just part of it. But I do my best to find them and to heart them because you guys deserve that. I mean, I'm nothing great. I've only got 3,000 subscribers, and I'm super thankful for that. I'm not even a overly successful Doki tuber. I mean, people like Monica Smileyface and Bike and Fretchinons are far more ahead of me when it comes to their stories and their videos, and I'm nowhere near that. So I mean, I'm humbled by the fact that I've got even where I am today. And I never want to think that I'm like the best, because I'm not. I don't want to be some egocentric person. And I like the fact, and I want to heart every comment I get. Because I mean, they can't because they have too many comments, but I can. I actually have that ability. I don't think other YouTubers are horrible because they don't. I think it's just because there's not enough time to even do that. But I have that time. I get that luxury, and I want to show appreciation. Because with my videos, I don't get to say thank you too much, and everyone actually see it. People will leave the video too soon. So I show that by hearting and responding to comments a lot. You are the fans of my content. My fans, the people who enjoy my stories, and you guys deserve acknowledgement that I know you exist and I appreciate you and everything that you say, good or bad, whether it makes me feel good or whether it hurts me or whether I have no idea what to say to it, like it's just weird, or if it's just common or rare or whatever it is, that I appreciate the fact that you said something. It means a lot. I know that has nothing to do with this video, just for the channel in general, but it's something I like to talk about. I know it's common for people to say that, to say, oh my gosh, I love you guys make this possible, and to some people it's just beaten to death. But it is true, even for those creators. For me, it's true. I don't make money off of this, but I do get encouragement to continue what I do for you guys because of you guys. The reason I haven't stopped making videos like this is because you are there to encourage me, that you're interested in what happens next. You're taking her shirt off. I was not gonna. That was another thing. I was like, I'm fine with making like a sex scene, like where it's just like it's mentioned that it just happens. I'm an adult. I hope that most people who view my contents are adults or adult enough just to accept that it's a topic. But I'm not showing some like nude censored sprite anytime soon. I know that it's there. I know I could put it in there, but I'm just not doing it. I have not gotten so desperate for views that I am stooping to a level to get clickbait views because there's a overly lewd drawing of Yuri on the thumbnail, or somewhere in the video it's gonna get real spicy. I haven't gotten to that level yet, and I hope that I don't ever stoop to that, because that means that I've lost all ideas for something that, or either that or everyone's lost interest in me. Hopefully I don't stoop to that, because I know that a lot of people don't like it, and a lot of people really do like it. I just never want to imagine that I created something that other people could be, what do you say, a little too excited with? We just drag him to the bathroom and lock her up. I wonder how the cops reacted to that. It's like, she locked in the bathroom? I don't know how, they'd have to prop a door up to keep her out from just leaving, because, the lock's inside. I can hear the front front door open and I see her. Multiple steps enter my house. That's good. I covered my bases, you know. I didn't just forget about Sayori and Monica being on the ground, knocked out. I mean, because I knew some people would be worried, and I would be worried, because, you know, they're still human. As bad as Monica was for ignoring a responsibility to do the right thing, that she just wanted to have her friends back, she valued her friends more than ever because of her want to never lose them again. And this series shows that. I mean, she just, everything that she has and is and she can do is for her friends. I mean, she's there for her every moment that Natsuki needs someone to be there. When MC's gone, when she needs help, it's Sayori and Monica that's there. And Monica is she's just, you know, she cares for them so much. And I remember one person noticing that I did that, and they appreciated it, and I appreciate them for noticing it. Whenever I make a reference or something specific in my mod for people to enjoy, I like it when people notice and they comment, because that's the only way I know you noticed. They just really care. They're good friends. You can tell that they're good friends, and that is tested in Corruption. I wanted to test their friendship in Corruption, and I'm still planning on that. That's the focus. That's the title, Corruption, and that's the video. I mean, we're at the end. There's so much to say. There's so much to go into. Every little nook and cranny of the stories that come after this. But it's romantic. I mean, they're together. They're happy. I mean, they have a chance for whatever you could want to happen. I mean, this music's perfect for it. I mean, it's a wonderful ending, I thought. I was like, you could just watch this one part, and honestly, you'd be okay. You don't have to watch all the other ones. This story on its own is good. If you liked it, you might enjoy the other parts and the other series that'll connect to it. But on its own, I think it's a good mod, and I really like that. I just like how this was made. I remember having to learn how to do that. Show face, you know, have them close up for whenever they hug or they kiss. So you know, just make a little extra for when there's a moment like this that you want it to be like that. And that's the end, isn't it? It sure is, isn't it? Let me see. To be continued. And that's it. Yep. Yep. Man. See, let me actually go to that ending right there. Where's... I love you. I'm tighter than I was. What was my last sentence? Let's see this. I love you too. Is that the last sentence? I love you too, MC. That's sweet. It is sweet. Ah, that's so sweet. It's romantic. And that was my first video. That's what came... there's not much else to say about it. It started off like just a simple story that I wanted to make for whoever would see it, and now it is the most successful mod on my channel. Probably one of the most successful mods I'll ever make, ever. I mean, I would be so surprised if I made a mod that topped it. And maybe I will. I'm never going to stop trying to make something that is on that level of people's enjoyment. But it's one of the most loved mods, and it's what put me on the map. It's why people know Brenirk. People know the name, as weird as it is. And I like my name. I like the way this all worked out. I love the fact that people like this story. I made it. I didn't steal it. I always worry that someone thinks that I'm gonna that there's like, oh, is this like a downloadable mod from someone else, and you're just like putting it on YouTube. It's like, no, I made it. I wrote it. It's not even playable. I get a lot of questions about that. I probably should make a intro to my channel and just put somewhere in it that none of these are downloadable, because they're not. I only wanted to make stories for YouTube. I wanted to make stories for people to read and enjoy, because there's no play here. There's no choices to be made. It would just be clicking through the dialogue. There's no different endings. It's just the one story. So I don't know what people would even think if I try to make it into an actual playable, downloadable mod. I don't think it would be much. And I try to tell them that, and I know people just really like the idea of playing this. Everyone wants to know if it's a downloadable mod or where they can find it. But it's just not. And I apologize for that. But if you want to watch it, it's always here. I never want to have to delete anything. I never want any of this content to be gone. And I always made my promise to myself. And it's like, if I actually do get successful, I'm never going to start a series and then just stop and never go back to it. I am finishing Doki Doki Corruption. I know it has been months since my last part, but I have not given up on the series or anything. I think it's a series that a lot of people are interested in. I'm not like finished. I'm going to finish it. I'm going to upload part 3 and 4. It's going to happen. Those are going to be my next mods. I never want to do that, to just leave people on a cliffhanger because maybe I'm tired of the story or maybe people aren't as interested. Because for the one person that is interested, they deserve an ending. Because I would hate that when I would see a story on the internet from any YouTuber, ddlc or not. I don't care if they started a series and then they never finished it for whatever reason. That just sucks. I feel like most people could agree with that. So this is definitely not the end of my mods. I know I haven't uploaded one in a while, and it's just because I've been with the holidays, my birthday, procrastination. There's a lot of excuses that I can make. The main thing right now is that I could have had one out sooner. I'm just really worried that it's not up to par, and I've been reworking the story a little bit. I've been wanting to finish it and maybe add a couple scenes, maybe change a couple dialogues, just so that it's just better. Would it make it overly better? No, I think the story itself is good, and you would have liked it either way. But I think one of the reasons I am where I am right now on YouTube at the almost 3,500 subscribers is because I go and I try. At the very least, I try to make it better. I'm not always successful, but I can go to sleep every night knowing that I tried. But either way, this is my commentary for the video. I know it's gone past the actual length of the video, but if you like the fact of listening to these commentaries, listening to what I have to say about the mod, maybe when I wrote it, maybe something that happened, the difficulties of uploading it, because recording this one was difficult, as I said before, things like that, things that you can just learn, little fun facts, then tell me. I'm going to be uploading this to my second channel, which is where you'll be watching it. Tell me and I'll make more. This is a very easy video to make and something to keep you guys occupied while you're waiting for the next mod to come out. And I think it's fun. It allows for people who are fans of the stories to get a little more information about it. But either way, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.